Okay, we are looking at 5 questions. We are looking at 4 marks each. Okay, and we have a set of how many questions? So this is 5 questions out of 8, right? So you have a choice there. Okay, and all you have, can you read that, Vaishnavi? What is the title of the part A? Answer
any 5 questions.
That's all. So they've not given any instructions. They've not said 200 words, nothing like that. Okay. But what I'm telling you is you have a booklet, if I'm not wrong, of 24 or 32 pages. That's a booklet. So you don't have this concept of additional answer sheets. Deepankar, you should know. You get a booklet of 32 pages, okay, or 24. I don't remember exactly, right? So you have, that means 24 sides of pages, okay? So when we are saying 4 marks, you should not write more than one side of a page. That's important. What to write, we'll look next. We are looking at only one side of the page, okay? Not 2 sides. Don't waste time, because time is precious. Many times your seniors have said that we couldn't complete the question paper, okay? And some of you have this habit of writing the, 12 marks questions first, right? Did you do that? Because it makes sense, Dheeraj. You know, you have a 4 marks question versus a 12 marks question. So I'm not telling you to do it, but if you feel comfortable attempting 12 into 5 part B, you do it. But that's a call that you need to take. Because sometimes there is pressure also. When you are attempting a 12 marks question, there is pressure of, how do I read? So some of us want to go easy, want to finish this. So you also need to divide your time. You have 3 hours. How much time would you give for 20 marks? How much time would you give for 60 marks, right? So around 45 minutes is something that you can give for part A. Keep that in mind. How do you divide? Please carry your watch. Okay, your phone is not allowed anyway. Please wear a watch. Borrow your watch from your dad or your mom. I know, because you don't have watches, many of you. Right. So one side of a page, okay, because I'm just asking one person. So Vaishnavi, what is it like? Give me some of the questions there. Okay, Norman conquest is one of the things. It's been a long time. So we'll go for something. What is the next one? Great vowel shift. Okay. Then reduplication. It's a method, word formation technique. Okay. Constituents. We'll go for something easy so that all of us are on the same page. So one of the questions that I'm picking from there is simple. I want some silence, otherwise that sound will be more than my sound. Okay, so simple sentences. I'm just going to help you with this. Simple sentences or simple sentence and its constituents, right, Ananya?
Yes.
Constituents. Very much possible for you to get a question. If not simple sentences, maybe you'll get compound, or maybe you may get complex. So it's a very technical sort of a question. And it's not like they are not asking you to give 5 simple sentences examples. Constituents is what goes into a simple sentence. So we learned that, right? So simple sentence basically should have what? It's basically, simple sentence is a clause. Okay, number 1. I'm just putting sub points. Simple sentence will have a subject, verb and object. Okay. Simple sentence is always, do you remember the difference between dependent and independent clause? It's always independent. Okay. I'm just telling you basic stuff. I'm not going very deep. Maybe you'll get long notes where it's more extensive, but we are looking at a 4 marks question, right? When you have a 4 marks question, they're not expecting you to go deep into it. This is good enough. So you have to explain basically the difference between, or maybe talk about what a clause is. Then you have to talk about simple sentence having subject, verb and object. Okay. You also have to say that it has to be an independent clause for it to be called as a simple sentence. And then you have to at the end give examples. Are you getting me? So this is basically what? So on a page, normal handwriting, okay, how many lines do you think? About 20 lines? 20 lines is what we are looking at. So I'm just very particular about this because some of us have bigger handwriting, right? Maybe one or two here or some of you have very small handwriting. I know you can't change that much, but we are looking at, so I'm making it more clear now, 20 lines. So how do you divide it? Define a simple sentence, okay? Talk about a clause, talk about subject, verb, object, subject and predicate, and then you talk about independent. It has to be an independent clause, not dependent, and then you give 2 examples, right? That's about it. That will fetch you, that will fetch you 4 marks, okay? So 5 into 4, okay, is what basically you are looking at 20 marks for, 20 marks for part A, right? Any doubts here, please? One side of a page. If you feel there is scope to write, if you write fast, that is the only time you should think of 1.5 sides of a page. I'm telling you very clearly, this video is also going to be shared with your classmates. So 1 side of a page. That means for these 5 questions, you have 5 sides of a page. Okay, you divide your time, maybe how much? 10 minutes? Yeah, max 10 minutes. Because if you go beyond that, then you are cutting into part B, and part B is obviously very, very important. Harshini, can you come and just check whether I am visible this side? Okay, I'm visible, right. So this is part A is done. I'm moving straight away to part B, very important, the chunk. It's a bigger chunk of marks there, okay. Part A is done, okay, we've sort of taken 45 minutes, 50 minutes, okay, and we are done with 5 pages, 5 to 6 pages. Some of us want to start easy, okay. So you want to start with 4 mark questions and then go to the tougher ones or the longer ones. I wouldn't say tough, but then some of us have this habit of doing the essay questions first. That's up to you. Question number, very important, okay. What happens when people are invigilating nowadays? Evaluation is done online, okay. So that question number, part A, okay, question 1 or 1A, whatever, very, very specific. Maybe if possible, write the question also. It will take how much? Few seconds. Write the question also, because that helps the person who is valuing your paper, for clarity, okay. That's important because some of you are starting with part B. Okay, I'll go to part B. Okay, yeah. So Vaishnavi, part B, what is the instruction?
Answer the following questions.
Again, see, it's very broad. Nobody has told you how many sides of a page, but that is some clarity I am giving you, okay, of someone who values papers and all that. Right, so we are looking at answer the following questions, and then you have internal choice. So, one clue for all of you guys, Param, one clue for all of you guys, this is the same pattern in journalism, same pattern in psychology, okay, if I'm just check with your teacher, and the same pattern in political science. Internal choice. What does internal choice mean? That means the first question, if you read, why should we read the first 2 questions, A and B?
Discuss the characteristic features of Old English period.
Okay, features of Old English. Okay, that's the broad. Okay, or, right, Vaishnavi?
Or
Ah.
analyze the distinguishing
Ah.
features of Middle English period.
Okay, analyze the features of, I'm just cutting it short, Middle English period. Okay. Now, where has this come from? You see, this has come from unit 1. Okay. Like that, you have 5 questions, right? 5 sets of questions, right, Vaishnavi? 5 sets of questions. Yes? Are you with me? So, unit 1, unit 2, unit 3. What is the last question? Can you read the set? Last question set. Neoclassical, okay. Neoclassicism, okay. Yeah, and its salient features. Or Romanticism, okay. Yeah, so very broad. If you see here, part A, you had just one, what was that? One phrase or one word, right? Some of those reduplication, simple sentences and its constituents like that. But if you come, when you come to part B, it's very broad. The reason why it's broad is they're expecting you to go in depth. 12 marks, you have to go in depth. So I'm looking at the first set of questions here, or rather something, we'll go to unit 5 because it's very fresh on our mind. That's the last thing that we did. You have neoclassicism, okay, you have romanticism. We looked at 5 periods, right? We started off with Renaissance, then we went to neoclassicism, then we went to romanticism, then realism and modernism, right? And then you did presentation. So it's all fresh on your mind. Am I visible here, Harshini? Slightly, okay. Let me use the, okay. So now that we know, I'll just erase this part and just maybe title only, let's attempt romanticism, okay? So it's easier. Romanticism, who did the presentation? I don't remember, but you did neoclassicism. Okay, Nicola is here, so we'll say neoclassicism. Right, so what do we do? I'm just putting a sort of, I'll use a tree diagram here. Okay, so neoclassicism, you are going to, so I'm just putting it here as how many sides of the page? You are looking at 2.5 sides. Okay, you're looking at 2.5 sides. I'm not saying 3 will be slightly longer. 2.5 slides is something like 50 lines. Okay, so if you go by 15 to 10, so you're looking at here, you're looking at 500 words, whereas here you're looking only at 100, let's say 200 words max. Okay, it's slightly on the higher side. So you're looking at, or is it more? I've done the mathematics wrong. 20 into 10, 15 to 10, correct? No? 500. So we're looking at 500 words. So what goes into 500 words? I know you have ready-made notes, Ahmad. Okay, you will have ready-made notes. The notes may be about, it will come to say 3 to 4 pages. So it will be very selective what you pick from there. Okay, and these are all broad. Look at all the questions, all the 10 questions, all of them are broad. Okay, so almost like you have the answer with you, but it's very important to go and answer these questions in a very systematic manner. So what do? Neoclassicism, you define it. Okay, right? Nicola, you started off by defining neoclassicism. Maybe you have notes there, right? Can you, maybe you'll just read that part, neoclassicism? Time frame, thank you for that. So when you define it, you start off with a time frame which period is this period, when did it actually happen? And then you go and define it. Do you have the definition there with you? From the tabular form you can just read.
It's all about reasoning, station of ambiguity, order and decorum.
Yeah, so these are the 4 words that you have. Neoclassicist period focused on these 4 areas. So why am I asking her to read? Because you have bullets, right? She has 4 bullet points to expand and maybe write. Let's say you have 50 words, so you can start off, you can take about 8 to 10 lines here. You define it, 8 to 10 lines. What do you do there? Antiquity, she said. And then what is the other word? Order. Decorum. So these are clues for you. These are sub points for you. You use it. You write 8 lines. Then you go. Okay, what is there in the, just tell me what I have given in the table, Nikhila. We'll go one by one. So core themes are sort of done here in the intro definition. Then literary traits. So here when you say literary traits, she's already mentioned what happened in neoclassicist period. Literary traits are when authors wrote during this period. We are going to get to the authors next, or maybe club it up here. So here you have, let's say, authors. When the authors wrote, whatever they wrote, poetry, prose, fiction, right? You have examples later. So what were the literary traits they picked? Already we know a little bit about it, right? So you connect this with authors and say these are the things that the authors did. Okay, they chose to have order in whatever they wrote, and there was antiquity and other things. So anyway, so literary traits, then you have, what is the next heading?
Authors and then works.
Authors and then works. We stick to the same order, but for these essay questions have more examples, right? If I remember, you had Swift, right? The authors, Jonathan Swift, then Alexander Pope, Samuel Johnson is what we have, right? Navya, I've given 3 examples, but maybe when I give you the essay notes, you may have some 5 authors, okay? Good to have more examples, right, Priscilla? For 2.5 pages, have more examples and mention their works. You know, Alexander Pope, you'll say Rape of the Lock. Jonathan Swift, you'll say Gulliver's Travels. That is one. Give 2 examples, okay? And highlight them. Some of the techniques that you followed in your class 12 still hold good. Your black and blue pen, right? Your underlining the bullets, they all work the same way. This is a proper theory paper. Journalism is also a proper theory, or political science, psychology also. So follow the same techniques, but have this. So you have, when you divide this way, then you come to, at the end, I'm going to finish in about 2 minutes. At the end, you have to have a conclusion. Go back to the question.
Should we write it like introduction, explanation, example?
Yeah, so introduction, explanation, example is what traditionally in English you write, general English. Here, instead of introduction, you say neoclassicism definition, okay? Neoclassicism, literary traits. That's the heading we are looking at, not introduction, explanation, conclusion. And even when I am asking you to conclude it, don't say conclusion, just the last paragraph. So what is the question once more? Neoclassicism and entire question. And I'll be done with this.
Explain neoclassicism and its salient features in detail.
Neoclassicism and its salient features. So at the end, I'm going to add this one thing. At the end, how it sort of influenced, English literature. Are you getting me? How this time period, what is the time period, Nikhila? It is from 1660 to 1798, this 140-year period, how did it influence English literature should be the last 5 lines, right? So there, that is something that you will have to use your inputs. Don't just go by what I have given. I'll try to make it as general, as generic as possible, the answers, but some part of it has to be your. So the only inputs will come at the beginning, at the end. Other than that, whatever notes have been provided, you will write the same thing. Okay, Deepankar, got it? At the end, you have to explain how the neoclassicism influenced English literature. You can say that, you can be very, like, I'll give you one example. For example, Gulliver's Travels made a huge impact on the readers. Right, Sneha? Because all of us know about Gulliver's Travels. Yes or no? The Lilliput story and all. So you put that rather than going for the Rape of the Lock, because you've not read it. I don't know how many of you have read the Rape of the Lock. So all of us, if not, even if you have not read it, maybe you've seen it in the form of a cartoon. So talk about how Jonathan Swift's Gulliver's Travels changed writing as such. Because till then, nobody would have written anything close to Gulliver's Travels, okay? So this is a sort of, I thought of doing this video because, you know, the others also will benefit from it. So 2.5 sides of the page for part B, 1 side of the page for part A, picking part A or part B, your choice, okay? 5 into 4, 20 marks. Each question here is 12 marks. You can see it in your question paper. We'll see tomorrow. We have just one more day, maybe we will do one more question paper, maybe look into more specifics there, okay? So thank you.